Hi everyone, welcome to documentary of crime. This is the new crime video for you. So don't waste the time. Let's go to the video.
Hello, everyone. My name is David. Today, we are going to take a look at another horrible case with you. On October 14th, 1993, Charlie Kirk was born in the suburbs of Chicago. By the time he was just a teenager, he would step into the world of politics, founding an organization that would grow into one of the most powerful youth movements in America, Turning Point USA. To some, he was a fearless defender of conservative values. To others, a controversial figure who thrived on conflict. But on September 10th, 2025, during what should have been an ordinary campus event in Utah, Charlie Kirk's life was cut short in a single violent moment. This is the story of his rise, his influence, and the shocking assassination that stunned a nation. Charles James, also known as Charlie Kirk, was born on October 14th, 1993, in the village of Arlington Heights, Illinois, into a wealthy family. Charlie Kirk's father was an architect by profession, and his mother was a mental health counselor. Although Charlie was born in Arlington Heights, he was raised in the nearby Prospect Heights. After finishing high school, Charlie Kirk first applied to join a military academy. However, his application was not accepted, and the reason given was his poor academic performance. But Charlie Kirk believed that the reason for rejecting his application was not his academics. Instead, he thought the military academy rejected him so that a black American could be given his spot. At such a young age, Charlie Kirk, born into a wealthy white family, began to see himself as a victim of the system. His interest in politics began around the time of the 2008 global financial crisis, which also affected his father's business. Coincidentally, that same year, the United States elected Barack Obama as its first black president. In the area of Illinois where Charlie grew up, Obama was considered a local hero. But Charlie Kirk idolized former Republican President Ronald Reagan. His first involvement in politics came in 2010, when he was a junior at Wheeling High School and began volunteering for the election campaign of a Republican senator from Illinois. In 2012, Charlie Kirk wrote an article for a right-wing news site where he argued that school textbooks were politically biased. Charlie also claimed that the liberal agenda was being pushed into children's minds at a very young age through school materials. That article brought him media attention, and he began to emerge as a recognizable face among the youth. Until then, Charlie was just a political activist, but the man credited with putting him on that path was 71-year-old Tea Party candidate Bill Montgomery, whom he met in 2012. The Tea Party movement was a fiscally conservative political movement within the Republican Party that began in 2007. In 2012, Charlie and Bill co-founded an organization called Turning Point USA, aimed at educating high school and university students about conservative politics. Turning Point USA was a conservative non-profit organization with the sole purpose of organizing on college campuses. During this time, Charlie Kirk also came into contact with another conservative activist, Ben Shapiro. By then, Ben Shapiro had become a well-known name in American political debates, and he once remarked about Charlie Kirk, "This man is going to take over the Republican National Committee someday." But after setting up the non-profit organization Turning Point USA, Charlie dropped out of college and began dedicating his full time to the organization. After completing high school, Charlie had enrolled at Harper College near Chicago, but he did not finish his studies there and left before earning a degree or certificate. The main work of this organization was to organize debates between Democratic and Republican students on college and university campuses. However, Turning Point USA received its real push in 2012 when Charlie Kirk met prominent Republican donor and multimillionaire Foster Friess at the Republican National Convention. After this meeting, Foster Friess began funding Turning Point USA, but in 2012 the Republican Party once again lost the election in the United States, and Democrat Barack Obama began his second term. In a way, people's trust in the Republican Party started to decline, but Charlie Kirk intensified his efforts to draw people back to the party. Now, with both money and influence on his side, he constantly encouraged people, especially young people, to stay connected with him. By 2016, when Donald Trump decided to run for president, Charlie Kirk was among his early supporters. Because of this support, Charlie quickly became close to the Trump family and, in 2016, became the youngest speaker at the Republican National Convention. This was a major achievement for him. And that same year, Charlie Kirk published his first book, Time for a Turning Point Asterisk. When Donald Trump won the 2016 election, Charlie Kirk's influence rose dramatically, as the party he supported was now in power and his connections had grown stronger. After the Republican Party returned to power, Charlie, through Turning Point USA, launched a professor watch list. This list included the names of certain college professors, and Charlie claimed that these professors were spreading leftist propaganda across various universities. In addition, Charlie Kirk collaborated with British commentator Milo Yiannopoulos. Together, they began organizing debates between left and right-leaning students across many college and university campuses. Another well-known fact about Charlie Kirk is that until 2018 he described himself as secular and had never spoken about any religious philosophy. But during 2018, Charlie realized that in America, supporters of conservative ideology were deeply rooted in Christianity. At that point, he understood that if he wanted to advance his conservative ideology, he needed to align himself with a Christian group. After this realization, James adopted evangelical Christianity. From 2016 to 2020, with the Republican Party in power, Charlie Kirk found a golden opportunity to expand his organization. By this time, Charlie Kirk and his organization had established a strong foothold in America's political space. But after 4 years, the Democrats returned to power, and Joe Biden became president. During this period, however, Charlie Kirk had already gained the trust of many young people and Americans, which he used to spread misinformation, hate, and right-wing propaganda. When Donald Trump accused the Democrats of rigging the elections after Biden's victory, Charlie Kirk played a role in spreading misinformation and inciting people to attack Capitol Hill. The evidence was that Charlie Kirk had posted numerous tweets to provoke people, but when the situation at Capitol Hill worsened, he deleted all those tweets. Soon after, in 2020, the COVID pandemic began, and from his home, Charlie used his various podcasts to spread conspiracy theories about COVID and the vaccines. What was surprising was that even some Republican Party members were unhappy with what he was doing in the name of supporting the party. During the COVID-19 crisis, Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger even called Charlie Kirk human garbage for spreading misinformation. Along with pushing conspiracy theories, Charlie Kirk also made many statements against Black Americans, which drew strong criticism. He repeatedly made controversial remarks about immigrants, the LGBT movement, and women, which led to growing hatred toward him from large sections of the American population. When he spoke about deporting immigrants, he wasn't just referring to illegal immigrants, but also to those who entered America legally. Charlie argued that the government should stop their entry as well. Commenting on Black Americans, he once said that if he were boarding a plane and saw that the pilot was Black, he would fear for his life because he didn't believe Black Americans were qualified enough to fly a plane. His views on women were also highly controversial. Charlie Kirk argued that the American family structure was deteriorating because women were taking jobs. He believed working was a man's role, and women should stay home and focus on raising children. One of his most controversial statements was on gun control, where he claimed that the right to bear arms had been granted to Americans directly by God. He argued that if people died every year in America because of guns, it should be seen as the price of freedom. By 2023, Charlie Kirk had become extremely famous for creating controversy with his words. Because of his popularity, he received invitations to participate in many public debates. For these debates, however, James charged very high fees, which became his main source of income. To put this into perspective, while in 2016 his annual income was $27,000, by 2023 he was living in a nearly $5 million home inside a gated country club in Arizona. Speaking of Charlie Kirk's love life, in 2018 he met Erica Franzwe. The two grew close because of their shared Christian faith and soon developed a strong spiritual bond. To strengthen that bond, they got engaged in December 2020 and married in May 2021 in Scottsdale, Arizona. Their marriage was based on faith and values, and Erica often described it as a covenant partnership. The following year, in 2022, they welcomed a daughter, and 2 years later, in 2024, they had a son. Until then, they had kept most of their family life private. By 2024, when Donald Trump once again became a presidential candidate, Charlie Kirk attended about 25 college events where Republican support was very low. His role was simply to deliver speeches in favor of the Republican Party to help Donald Trump gain as many votes as possible. And that is exactly what happened. After Charlie gave these pro-Republican speeches on college campuses, the results quickly showed, as many voters shifted from the left to the right. In fact, many prominent Republican figures acknowledged that Charlie Kirk played a major role in Trump's 2024 victory. There was even talk of including Charlie in the Trump administration, but later the party agreed that he was more effective working independently than he would be inside the administration. Moreover, Charlie Kirk openly supported all the decisions Donald Trump made after becoming president. On September 10, 2025, when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, he was on another American comeback tour, and Utah University was his first stop. As for why he was killed, for now only different speculations exist. Many believe he was killed by someone from the left wing. But others argue that the Republican Party and Donald Trump stand to benefit the most from his death because it would draw public sympathy toward them. What is certain is that much of what Charlie Kirk said on stage or on college campuses was not liked by left-wing ideology. But it is also worth noting that if the left wing was indeed behind his killing, it could be considered their biggest mistake. After his death, Charlie's ideas have been amplified even more, and Republican supporters have started treating him as a martyr. The most shocking detail about Charlie Kirk's case was that, at the very moment he was shot, he was debating someone on the issue of gun control. Police immediately launched an investigation after his assassination, and through CCTV footage, they identified a college-aged suspect and released some photos to the public. Just a few hours ago, based on suspicion, a young man was arrested and questioning is underway. It is expected that soon the true identity of Charlie Kirk's killer will be revealed.
So this was today's story. I hope if you enjoyed the video. So don't waste. So like the video and subscribe to channel. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Hi everyone. This is the new crime story video for you. So don't waste the time. Let's go to the video.